room. If you go right back out as if you're heading towards the reception, to your left, you'll find the bathrooms. So if you need to leave us at any moment, please, that's where they are. But more so, I'd like to request everyone to please take out your phone. Typically in meetings, I'd be saying, please put your phone on silent, don't disturb us. Please go on Twitter. Oh, on X, yes. Some of us started, before we even knew what social media was, we were on Twitter, so it will take a while. So please take a picture, put a statement, put a quote. We have 3 hashtags. Our hashtags are hashtag Top 100 Brands Africa, hashtag Top 100 Brands Africa. We know the hashtag for this year's IWD, isn't it? What was it? Inspire Inclusion. We're also using that, and we're also using International Women's Month. So please let everyone know that you're here and that you're celebrating with us this launch so that we can also be able to participate. We also do have an online audience, and I'd like to say hello to them. Hello to our online audience. We have about 100 people who have logged on online. So really looking forward to engaging with both who are with us physically and also those who are with us online. So as we get to prepare, I'd like us to start off with a word of prayer. And I'd like to invite the Reverend Janet Mutinda, who we're so grateful has been able to join us. She's the National Director of New Life Home Trust, a charitable children's institution, and she's also the current chair of the Elders Board in Nairobi Chapel, and also serves on the board of the Lukenya Getaway. Thank you. Please give us the prayer for the day. Please use that. Excellent. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes. Janet, welcome. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning. All right, let's pause a bit for prayer as we begin our day. God, we thank you for the gift of a beautiful day, and even most importantly, for the gift of life. Thank you that each of us has breath. Thank you that each of us is able to be here and to engage, and we do not take that breath for life. Father, we thank you for gathering us here this morning to celebrate brands that have resonated most with Kenyan women. And we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity before us to foster discussions on understanding their evolving needs and preferences. And we ask, God, that you'd fill this morning with robust conversations and synergetic networking. Allow for many aha moments for each one here today. Father, we commit this morning to you and ask that indeed you would grace this occasion with your presence. Bless each organization that is represented here. Bless each individual. And may each person leave this place saying, that was time well spent. We commit everything to you and ask that even those organizing this event would look back and be so grateful for what will happen here today. So we ask that you would be with us and that you would guide us in every step of the way, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the blessings, even as we start off our day. And at this point, I would like to invite Miss Eva Moriah. She is the brainchild that has been behind all of this work that we're doing today. She's the founder and CEO of the BSD Group, a regional award-winning brand strategy and comms company. It comprises of 4 companies. There's BSD Limited. There's also Avid Public Relations Limited, Whiteboard Advertising, and Brand Code Africa, all of which are different arms doing different things. She has more than 25 years industry experience in business advisory, innovation, and communication management. She has also led the refresh and launch of programs for local, regional, and global companies. She's a trailblazer in the arena of women participation in key nation building, industry leading, and society defining processes, causing her to be a notable figure in the inclusion conversation. As an Aspen Fellow, her business leadership has earned her a variety of awards and prestigious appointments, including the Eve Woman Entrepreneur of the Year 2007, Marketing Society of Kenya, Warrior Award 2007, the Goldman Sachs Fortune Global Leaders Award 2008, and the International Alliance for Women World of Difference Award. I cannot take away any of her awards, but it's to say that she has been an amazing leader in this work. Let's give her a round of applause. I'm sure many of you have seen her in many places where she has led us in the work that we've done in pushing forward the agenda of women. Eva, welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. Wow. Good morning. Good morning again. I'm having a moment here. Tell the person you're sitting next to, it feels good to be 4 years. Yeah. Now the tantrums are over. Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you. My first language is Kikuyu, and in my mother tongue, there is a saying that the toughest thing to do is the one that you don't begin. Munanipata? The hardest thing for anyone to do is the one that you will not begin to do. And so this just, standing up here and looking across the plenary, I cannot see it better than agree that the toughest thing to do is the one that you have not begun to do. So again, good morning. And I salute you, Chris, Managing Director of Ipsos, and my friend, my brother, the one who took a huge risk with my crazy idea. Corporate and industry leaders who are here present, our corporate sponsors. Please let's salute our corporate sponsors. You have made it possible for us to keep coming here again and again. Representatives from government who are here with us this morning, our development partners who have continued to rally us through time, the last 5 years. You have continued to say, keep going. You have, and I'm sure you've seen the pictures that they have stood with us as we have continued to grow this asset. My colleagues from the Fourth Estate, Rachel should have whispered that actually it was journalism that birthed me into this industry. So those from the Fourth Estate, thank you for your continuing support. BSD Associates, Ipsos partners, amazing colleagues from both BSD Group, our online community that includes my daughter Zawadi. I know you're online, please be online. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How are you all feeling today? Especially on this wonderful day during the International Women's Month. They gave us a day, we took a month. Let's celebrate that we took a month. So I hope that you can all tell that I am super excited to be here because the enthusiasm and support we have received since the very, very first launch of the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya continues to overwhelm us every day, every single day. There's a whole team that continues to work on top 100 every single day at BSD Group and Ipsos. And if you would allow, I would like to ask the BSD Group team of Top 100, the Ipsos team in the room, please stand up because we want to salute you. I know that we are celebrating 4 years today, but it has been 5 years of very hard work. Ladies, please, gentlemen, let's celebrate this team. Where is Kathy Magoa? Please come into the room. Last year you were not in the room. Chantal, Shiko, please, Brian, Stella, Eugene, I celebrate you. Very well done. So yes, we released not the first, not the second, not the third, but the fourth Top 100 Most Loved Brands by women in Kenya study today. Last year, we were hardly a quarter of this room. Now look at what has happened here. It's been an amazing journey for BSD Group and Ipsos, during which we have learned a lot about the Kenyan woman consumer. We have understood this woman's head, we have understood her heart, and we have understood her hands. We know exactly what makes her tick so that she can drive a conversion. The study has attracted the attention of champions and different proponents of inclusivity and gender equity in Kenya, regionally, and around the world. Imagine that. What you begin, as long as you begin it, it will fan a flame. So it has made its way into very, very rare boardroom spaces, nudging and urging and transforming business imperatives that continue to bridge the divide. This indeed is a confirmation that we are responding to an endemic gap in the society as pertains to women. 5 years ago, and I don't know whether, Chris, you really know this was 5 years ago, imagine. An idea was born that led to the establishment of this study, just a sense of knowing that we need to do more. We need to answer to the question that frequently came our way. We can't really do it because where is the data? We don't have the evidence on women. We can't bring them onto boards because we don't have the data. We can't change the distribution strategy because we don't have the data. So we said, okay, prior to this study, women consumer voices had remained underrepresented. In fact, perhaps even ignored, misunderstood, omitted, forgotten. And just last week in this room, I was introduced to a very apt quote by Virginia Woolf at a lovely IWD event that was hosted by the Isuzu Women Council, which says, for most of history, Anonymous was a woman. Never to be seen, never to be heard. So Ipsos shared our curiosity about this topic and quickly accepted to explore these uncharted waters with us, providing their expertise in research and data analytics. I said to Chris, let's not make women fit the world. Let's make the world fit women instead. And then our journey began. So our study centers on economic empowerment of women and the presence of their authentic voice in corporate boardrooms and in key decision-making value chains, which would be a huge reversal of what has otherwise been the trend. The participation of women in most economic activity, education, healthcare, the political space, name it, is still ranked significantly lower for Kenya compared to the rest of Africa. Kenya's Gender Gap Index in 2023 the score stood at 0.71, meaning that females were around 27% less likely to have the same opportunities as males. Among the performance in sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya was positioned at number 15 out of 36 nations that were polled. The Global Gender Gap Index measures gender-based gaps among 4 dimensions: economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. The highest possible overall score is 1, meaning total equality between men and women. So a score of 0.71, and I know that I have Ipsos in the room, means we must continue building on the progress we made so far by pushing for reforms and strengthening legislation that allows women to exercise their rights without any prejudice. So therefore, the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya study showcases holistic consumption habits of women consumers while seeking to reinforce the importance of women as key decision makers, not only in the domestic front, but in business, in entrepreneurship, in health, in agriculture, education, and leadership. Last year, as I was making my remarks, I made reference to an interesting study that I had come across from McKinsey that cited that if we really did, as a society, as a global society, create parity around the issues that constrain women, consumers, we would be staring at tapping an additional $12 trillion of consumption budget unlocking from the purses of women around the world. And the question becomes, how set are our local brands, our regional brands, and our African brands to maximize on that huge opportunity? So the insights we have gathered about women consumers in Kenya continue to inform decision makers on product development, product design, marketing communications, distribution, functionality, pricing, placement, and of course, availability. Nevertheless, a significant number of women still struggle to engage in economic activity due to continuing gender and cultural barriers. In Kenya, women at the C-suite level stood at 11%, slightly lower than the global representation of 12%. And I know that I have been involved with the Women on Boards network, who are in the room today, through KEPSA's platforms to really champion. So Kenya's looking good for Africa, but we could do so much better to build the necessary parity. On the upside of IBM's Institute for Business Value, which is IBV, it has noted that Kenya has a higher representation of women in junior professional specialist roles at 41% compared to a global average of 40%. Now, I think it is all right for us to amplify the opportunities to improve. But I think it's also fair to celebrate when those amongst us in this market are making strides that continue to bridge the gap. So this morning, progressive corporations and organizations like Isuzu East Africa, like Bamburi, like Safaricom, like KCB, like East African Breweries, and many others in our market are doing quite a lot to support equal opportunity for women in the workplace. I think last year we were celebrating the work that Equity Bank had also done in drawing some level of parity or committing to bridge that even more. Indeed, in the Bill of Rights under the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Chapter 4, Clause 4, it states that women and men have the right to equal treatment, including the right in equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural, and social spheres. But we must not forget that women in rural areas and marginalized communities still lag far behind due to entrenched cultural practices, unequal opportunities in education, and access to information. As you will see when we get into our panel, this year we've taken a deeper dive into issues tech. And COVID really did bring to the fore the real gaps that especially our gender suffers around the access to technology. The theme this year for International Women's Day, or shall I say month, has also included Invest in Women to Accelerate Progress. Last week, I heard us in this same room cite Forward Faster, which I thought was really powerful. So this complements the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya survey, which points to the importance of listening to the voice of the Kenyan woman and responding explicitly or in an implied manner to her needs. Data is an integral part of our world today, as has been for decades before, but today more than ever, data is currency. However, collection, analysis, and the use of data has drastically changed, widening opportunities for more incisive and targeted audience understanding. In line with this year's theme, investing in data has been singled out as one of the most potent ways to accelerate progress as far as women are concerned. We always need the evidence in order to inform both the right policy formulation, legislative reviews, and correct frameworks. Therefore, with the data that is already in our possession, and I must remind you that BSD Group and Ipsos has 4 cycles of this data. So now you can map this woman. You can understand better over a span of 4 years, her head and her heart and her hands, and use that power to inform your business decisions. We as a society can accelerate progress for all using data. We need to call out for more concrete, real tangible interventions for empowering this Kenyan woman's aspirations, her desires, and her ambitions. I'm pleased to note that there are organizations that already went ahead and have purpose to accelerate progress for women. Last year, if I can just bridge, we were celebrating KCB in using the data that has been produced by BSD Group and Ipsos in informing a lovely product that they have then launched into this market flame. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, we have some 610,000 women investors at the exchange. These women have a collective investment portfolio of about 3 billion. Do you want to wear your seatbelts as I get into the next piece of data? On the other hand, the NSE has 1.2 million male investors with, get this, a collective portfolio worth Kenya shillings 10 billion. This is 10 times what women own. It's a pointer that we still have a very, very, very long way to go. However, with the kind of data that will be unveiled today, we can continue using this data to harness growth in all sectors of production and in her engagement. Whether it's catalyzing that acceleration through coaching and mentorship, whether it's trainings, whether it's networking opportunities such as this one, shared learning experiences, best practice, telling our own stories, women, telling our own stories so that they can continue building one on another. The real estate, infrastructure, construction. We want to see our women get into that space even more, irrespective of the cadre. It's amazing to see initiatives like Build Her that continue to churn masons and electricians and plumbers, because they will then be able to access a lot more disposable income to respond to the opportunities available to us. In tourism and hospitality, we are key positions that allow women to contribute wholesomely to the sector. Healthcare and caregiving, and this morning our panel will have a deeper dive around health. So as I conclude, because we need to get to the rankings, I call upon us to tell our own stories. There's power in storytelling. Tell the stories of our challenges and our constraints so that others may learn from our experience. Let us tell the stories of our successes, because there is a woman out there looking for inspiration who will be uplifted by our story. We must not relent on innovation and creativity in what we do in order to remain competitive in this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous market. To navigate it, a strong data set like we shall reveal today becomes key. I'm trying to say that you're living dangerously as a corporate, not to invest in the data we're about to reveal. And I'm sure that at your tables, there's little prompters, and our teams are around the room that can help you understand how to invest in the data so that you are charging your boardroom discussions and decisions with a lot more information and to tap into this really potent demographic. She's good for your top line, she's good for your bottom line, she's good for your operational efficiency. On our part, between Ipsos and BSD Group, we aim to raise the challenge much further and hope to release, drum rolls everybody, hope to release the top 100 most loved brands by women in East Africa edition in our 5th year. You must support us to do this, those who can. So by doing so, we will continue to empower organizations to make better data-led decisions as pertains to East Africa. And our dream and desire, both at Ipsos and BSD, is to see in the next couple of years this become an African asset that every boardroom in Africa will use. So now to all those brands that have made the top 100 most loved brands by women rankings this year, hearty congratulations for keeping the love alive with this key demographic. To those others that will become inspired into inclusion based on this year's rankings, we say it's never too late to ignite and fund her love for your brand. Just keep listening keener to her, listen keener to her head, pick out the pulse of her heart, watch out for her hands so that they can work magic to strengthen your top line operational and bottom line performance. They actually say where there is a woman, there is magic. Did you know that? Where there is a woman, you just need to tell her that things are tough in Kenya, give her 1 packet of unga flour, and 3 weeks later, she's still feeding her 11 children out of it, isn't it? Let us celebrate this Kenyan woman. So in a season in which we must go beyond assumption and truly guide our younger women and girls to find their authentic voice, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, in a quote I so love, perhaps says it best to us. To girls and women everywhere, I issue a simple invitation. My sisters, my daughters, my friends, find your voice. I believe the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya is a direct response to this challenge from Her Excellency. Thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting us. Enjoy the rest of the morning. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Eva. And thank you for sharing that invitation to find our voice, isn't it? Are we finding our voice? Are we finding our voice? Okay, thank you so much. And it's really wonderful to see the partnership that has brought this work to life, the partnership between the BSD Group and Ipsos. And at this point, it's my great honor to invite Chris Gedaiga. Allow me to introduce him because Chris is the Oga in the room. Why do you think I'm describing him as the guy in the room? Because Chris joined Ipsos in Kenya in January 2020 from Ipsos in Nigeria. So he brought us some of that energy, where he was the country manager for 3 years. Chris has extensive research, strategy, and business management experience in sub-Saharan Africa. Having worked at several research agencies, he has taken various leadership capacities, including regional management. He has a wealth of multi-country sectoral research, technical knowledge, operational excellence, and data management that he has gained through 2 decades of experience. His client engagement cuts across multiple sectors. We have automotive, FMCG, telco, information technology, finance and banking, durables. I'm not quite sure what durables are. Chris, maybe you can tell us. Retail and media. Chris has taken up leadership of a vibrant market research agency that has been in business in Kenya and globally for over 3 decades. So Chris, Oga in the room, welcome. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes up. Yes, let's give him a round of applause. Chris, thank you.
Good morning. It's always difficult to come after Eva. She's basically said what I wanted to say, so probably I don't have anything to say. But it's good to see everybody and all protocols observed. It's good to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking to the launch of the event for the top 100 brands for the 4th time. So, So first is to congratulate all the brands that have made it to the esteem list. So we're trying to make it very extreme. So if you're in the list, you are in the esteem list. And I think for the Aramis lovers, it's still in the list. So I want to confirm that although it was supposed to be for farmers, I'm sure everybody here has some one of the the small pieces put somewhere else. So it's important to appreciate that the list is becoming more and more prestigious. And for the brands that are made into the list, I want to say thank you and to congratulate you for the hard work. It is a testament of your hard work, dedication, and more importantly, your understanding of this unique unique need for the preference for the women in Kenya. And why is it important why is it important? The importance of understanding the women market in Kenya cannot be overstated. We are currently in Kenya constitute 50% of the population. We are talking about 28 million. That's a huge population that you cannot afford to miss. And they are not just a significant part of the society, they are also powerful economic force. According to Global Banking Alliance, women in Kenya control about 30% of the wealth, which is a huge, consumer spending, which we cannot as a brand afford not to be part of. And marketing to women is not just about making everything pink, because sometimes we tend to think, make it pink that is going to be, attractive to women. It's about recognizing the unique needs, desire, and also challenges, and then crafting products and services that actually addresses this. So you have to really go deeper than just the visual part of what attracts the women. And it's about creating an emotional connection and building trust. So it's really go beyond the normal functional delivery of the brand. You have to really understand what really makes them tick, so they connect them at an emotional level. And I started by Boston Consulting Group, show that when a woman feels emotionally connected to a brand, they are 52% more likely to recommend it. So if you can really connect to a brand at an emotional level, then the woman is likely to be your advocate, and that actually create more business for your brand. We also seen that research has shown that women are more likely to recommend a brand they love to their friends and family. So for you to be recommended and for the woman to work for you, you have to connect with them at that level. And they also they are more likely to stay loyal to a brand over a longer time. So it's not just about creating the initial connection, but also how staying with them. So if you win with their heart, then they're going to be with you for a longer time, and they're going to talk to you about recommend you to your friends and their family. So you can see the connection between winning the women market and how the brand can actually build a more sustainable business within this segment. And we've seen also, according to a study by Bain and Company, women are more likely to be loyal customers than men. So I'm a man, but I can say that, that if you win and you connect better with women, then they're likely to be loyal to your brand compared to the other gender. And moreover, women influence up to 8% of the consumer purchase. So it's not about, in addition to what they spending and what they have control spend, they also influence a lot of what is being purchased at the household. And this is according to a global trade study. And by understanding the women market, brands can tap into a wider range of product categories and increase their market share. Understanding the women market is about corporate social responsibility and gender equality. And by creating products and services that empower the women, business can actually make a positive impact to the society. So we are talking about sustainability, the ESG space, and therefore building a strong and positive brand image. However, understanding the women market is not one-time thing. You're not just understanding once and then you assume that you know everything. It requires continuous research and listening, adapting to their changing needs and preference. So you have to keep actually changing because they're discerning and they keep changing their needs and desires. So you have to always keep on top of that. And it's requires an ongoing journey of learning and innovation. So it's more of, you have to really, and this is what we've been trying to do with this study, and this is where in the 4th year. Every year we're trying to know what is new, what is emerging, what are the needs, how are those needs changing, how are they evolving, and also how are they going to change in the near future. And in conclusion, understanding the women market is not just good for business, it's essential. It leads to increasing brand loyalty, consumer referrals, market share, and positive brand image. And more importantly, it contributes to more inclusive and more equal society. To all the brands here today, I encourage you to continue your journey of understanding the women market. Keep listening, keep learning, keep innovating. Your success of a society actually depends on that. And this is the core need of what we've been trying to address, as Eva had talked about. The top 100 brand study is in the 4 years now. And across the 4 years, the brands that have actually used and tapped into that, to those insights, we've seen that there have been change and there are more benefits in their not only on the top line, but also the bottom line, but also a deeper understanding of the human market. And we've seen positive impact on some of their business, as Eva had mentioned. So for me, I would actually ask you to get a copy so that you can be part of this journey. And thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you so much. Are we empowered? Are we empowered with information after listening to the two? Are you feeling better? I love a mic where I can move. I was feeling imprisoned. So thank you so much, and thank you for all the wisdom and the insights that have really clearly gotten us to understand how we got here. Can't you see the brilliance between the two? And really, it's that energy, it's that sense of focus that has allowed them to lead the team that has done this work for 4 years in a row, and that has allowed us to start to change the scenery and how the corporate world and basically the community thinks about women, both as consumers and purchasers. So I'd like us to have a short art break, right? A short art break after all that data, all that information. Do we need a break? So I'd like to invite Spontaneous the poet. She's an award-winning floet. I have to say this word right. Floet. Have you heard the word floet? Yes, she's a floet. She's an artivist, right? I'm pronouncing it right. And she has been honored with the Talanta Hela Award and also the African Women Journal Awards. She'll be performing to us this morning in partnership with her colleague Kim. So I'll also tell everyone in the room, yes, she's Spontaneous the poet, but she's also my namesake Rachel. Welcome, and thank you. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. How are you feeling? Please turn to your neighbor and tell them something nice. You are very loyal people. Thank you so much. It's such a delight to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And I wonder if Kim is set. Kim, are you set? Okay. The nerves are nerving. So let's do this.
Hi.
Hi, Mom. Today was intense. More like a wild wind dance. These financial realities just don't make sense. I don't understand it. Eva, how did you do it? Because I don't understand it. Even with a decade of content creation, yet very little to show for it. Maybe my customers now think I'm a sham. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Or maybe my laggard way of thinking needs a Gen Z revamp. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe I should just watch myself on the screen and enjoy this time. Let's turn on the screen. It's funny how the YouTube navigation now beats the Netflix choice situation. Let me just continue watching some Oga. It will do me some good. Or maybe I should listen to some music, guys, yeah? Some music? By Spontaneous herself? Keep Pepe, oh, Pepe, ah. Pepe, ah. Pepe, ah. If you're a woman, keep Pepe, oh, Pepe, ah. No, it's not working. These nerves are just not working. Kicking them away is just not working. Maybe I should just stick to watching something. It's funny how even with 96% of purchasing power as a woman, I still need to take hours to be able to find my heart's desire. And yet I am the decision maker in the room. It's funny how they say that the future is feminine. But it's not really the survivors that fit, but the most adaptable ones. Wait, I actually remember I have a book. My friend sent me this book to figure out how to better my business. The 100 most loved brands by women.
Hi. Hi. I think you need a shift.
Maybe I need a shift.
I think you need to intentionally focus on serving the true needs of your female customers.
Maybe I actually need to do that.
No, you're not hearing things. It's me.
Wait. There's someone in the room? Where are you? Who are you?
As for who, I am the storyteller. I wittingly weave webs with words to tell tall, tasteful tales that stir emotions, move masses, and change mindsets. As for where, that's insignificant. What's more significant is what I know.
What do you know? Where is this person?
I know something
You don't know.
that most children don't. Bad people are never truly bad. And good, people
are never truly good.
Good and bad are never absolutes. Bad relies on good, and good on bad. For example, let's take your current situation. The market isn't serving you as it should, and that's a bad thing, right?
Right?
But within this bad exists some good. An opportunity presents itself. An opportunity to serve the true needs of your female customers. An opportunity to go beyond assumptions and serve the true needs of your customers. Do you see?
I see. I don't follow. I'm not sure. Where are you?
As I said, where is insignificant. What I know is more important. You see, I'm an idea made manifest. I am a unique study that is dedicated to understanding who you are. I know your age. I know where you stay. I know how much you make. I even know what you like and dislike. I know what is most important to you. Actually, the sole purpose for my existence is to help the market better serve you.
Tofauti ya mse na stoka ni nini? Anajua age yangu, anajua how much I make. And if I'm not wrong, could that voice be coming from this book?
As I said, I am an idea made manifest. I am a unique study dedicated to understanding who you are. I know that you are the heart and soul behind household purchases. I know that 45% of households in Kenya are run and managed by women like you. I also know a secret. I know there are 100 most loved brands by women, and I know why. You see, my dear, it's not the strongest that survives, but the most adaptable.
Ones. Are you sure I will hack it? Are you sure you are the iron that's meant to sharpen mine? Truth be told, you know that I have tarried, gone back home, tired, broke, and spent. Are you sure all this will make sense? Because they say the future, but it's not the fittest that survives. It's the most adaptable ones.
Let me ask you a question. As an entrepreneur, what would happen if you understood and served your female customers better? What would you do for the ability to make better decisions, increase your revenue and market share? Would you like to adapt quickly to an ever-changing market and stay ahead of your competition?
Definitely. Wouldn't you want to adapt?
Would you?
Definitely, I would.
Then here is your secret. The future is
It's
feminine. And it's not the fittest that survives.
It's
but
the most adaptable ones.
Do you remember when your favorite bank created a product to help fan the flames of your business?
Definitely. I will not name names.
Do you remember when your health provider made prenatal and postnatal care vital?
Linda Mama Initiative, you guys relate?
Do you remember how your dignitary kits were designed to be your body's perfect fit?
I do remember.
Do you remember when your favorite service provider made it easier for you to own a smartphone?
You guys remember?
Well,
Do you remember?
right here, right now, right here, right now, you have the same opportunity. An opportunity to go beyond assumptions. Go beyond assumptions and serve the true needs of your female customers.
Because this data never lies. The 100 most loved brands by women has all the insights. It is true. The future
The future
is feminine,
is feminine.
but it's not the fittest.
It's not the fittest, not the fittest.
Look around you. It's not the fittest
It's not the strongest.
that survives,
It's not.
but the most
The most adaptable.
adaptable ones. The most,
The most adaptable
the future is feminine.
is feminine.
It's not the fittest
It's not the fittest
that survives,
that survives,
but the most.
but the most adaptable.
Are you willing to adapt?
Are you ready to adapt?
Are you ready? Are you ready to adapt? I'm tempted to get off stage and ask people, are you ready to adapt? I'm going to do that. Are you ready to adapt?
Yes.
Are you ready to adapt?
Yes, I am.
Are you definitely ready to adapt?
Absolutely, yes.
Are you ready to adapt?
Yes.
I feel like this yes is very soft. Are you ready to adapt?
Yes.
The future is feminine. It's the fittest that survive. And the most adaptable ones. Spontaneous, the poet, and Kim Chokera. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another round of applause. Or should I come with the mic and ask you, those at the back, are you ready to adapt? Are you ready to adapt? I need to hear a very resounding yes. Are you ready to adapt? Yes. And I think the insights that we've gotten from this is that with decision making, with strategy for an individual businesswoman, it really helps when the universe is actually looking at you, isn't it? As a business, it really helps as a founder of a business when the universe is ready to accept the products that you're putting out and is willing to take up the services that you're providing. So thank you so much. And at this point, I'd like us to start to cue the video. We are going to be receiving a recorded statement from the chairperson of the Marketing and Social Research Association, Mr. JP Munga. He is the East Africa Director for Geopol, and interestingly, is also an Ipsos alumni. So yes, it seems like the cycle comes around, isn't it? So he's also an Ipsos alumni. I'm going to ask the team at the back to please cue the video. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. I'm John Murunga, the chairperson of MSRA, the Marketing and Social Research Association. MSRA is the umbrella association for data, research, and analytics organizations and professionals in Kenya and the larger East Africa region. You all look amazing, by the way. It's a shame I couldn't be there in person, so leveraging on technology to share this message across. MSRA is proud of the stellar work that has gone into producing this innovative research of the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Hongera sana to Eva Moriah and the team at BSD Group for bearing this vision and driving it forward. Another big hongera to Chris and the team at Ipsos, one of our distinguished members of MSRA, for spearheading the data, insights, and analytics elements of this great initiative. This research work resonates with MSRA's vision of building a world-class research industry in Africa. The target for this research, women aged 18 to 65, form the single most significant consumer segment of the population. Think about it. If you could just pause right now and think about all the brands you've interacted with since your day started. What percentage of them would you agree have been influenced by women? A lot. It's amazing the amount of influence women have in our lives. That's why we love them. I am personally excited about the possibilities, the insights, and brands. But let's remember, insights only have impact when we, those who interact, take action. I wish you all the best as we launch the 4th edition of the Top 100 Most Loved Brands by Women in Kenya. All the best, and God bless.
Thank you. A round of applause. He can clearly hear us because he said we looked nice, right? So definitely, he definitely has the powers to see through. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate also the support of the professional bodies, and especially those that govern and rule and guide the work that we do in the communications field. So their support is really critical and continues to give us the energy to continue to do the work that we need to do. So it's my great honor at this point to invite our chief guest, Ms. Zura Odhiambo. I'd like to say that I met Zura when she was pushing for something called the Club 30% of East Africa. She was chairing it, and this is basically an association that is looking to increase the number of women in boards. And she was actively pushing the Nairobi Stock Exchange to ensure that this was being done, and that the Stock Exchange was taking it seriously and ensuring that these policies are in place at that level. She is the founder and CEO of New Revenue Solutions Africa. It's a revenue-generating company which enables organizations to accelerate profitable revenue through the use of data. Aren't we about data this morning? Through the use of strategy and commercial development. She has given of both her professional time, but also as a volunteer, where she has served as the chair of the KEPSA GBV and mental health subsector, and she's currently serving as the chair of the Marketing Society of Kenya. Zuhura, we are so honored that in your role as the chairperson, you could find time to be with us. Welcome. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Zura Odhiambo. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can hear me well. Wow, you look beautiful. And I didn't just want to copy what he said, but for sure you do. I stand honored here for the amazing leaders in the house, the women who are the trailblazers, and those who are extending their hands to be able to pull the other women in their walk and legacies that they've set. The men who are the champions and the ambassadors that have ensured that in their communication and everything they have to speak about, they do not forget the other percentage that is always ignored. I stand here with many hearts, and of course, the heart of the Marketing Society of Kenya, seeing some of our members in the house, very excited to see you all, that are believed we are the force behind business. I stand here with the other heart, that of course, I have left a lot to be written on my tombstone as a gender champion to ensure that we have got a space, be it on the table, be it everywhere else, and that we are there for the change the country needs, and Africa needs, and the world needs, because of enabling us to be able to turn the economical angle of every conversation that is out there. I stand here today to celebrate the top 100 brands that my sister Eva has believed in, and of course with the team of Ipsos, and talking about data that is the oil of every organization that enables you to make decisions in everything that you make. Taking every business to the next level, you have to use data. And how lovely that we can harness the data, that we can be able to analyze it, that we can be able to use it and strategically position it to help us make clear decisions. that it's the amazing data that even in the universities and other decisions that are coming in to enable people to know what are the future of jobs. Where are we headed? What courses should be done? The children who will be born 10 years from now, what are we looking at? Imagine if we didn't have that. That I'm excited to stand here and celebrate that we can bring the conversation of the top 100 brands of women, most loved brands of women in this conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And that was my call to wake you up and just to let you know that you're here for a reason. A reason that out of this, you'll be able to make decisions with what you're thinking about, make decisions with anything you engage with, and you're clear to know that every other day, despite where you're seated, you make sense in the economy of this country. This reminds me that during COVID, we were among the first that championed the World Economic Forum that was there for the women economic aspect and angle in everything, that we had an online presence of about 9,000 attendees all over the world that we did with, of course, Global Affairs Canada and the Crown Trust. And we said, reshaping the economy of Kenya by wearing the gender lens of the woman. And how amazing our conversations, how amazing that we are able to look at where are we in being able to access that market, grow our business, make our business be known. Above all, your business cannot be known without the marketing angle. It gives me so much pleasure, before I go to my very official speech, that last week I was tagged by a lot of you in this room, and I bet you know yourselves, on advertising that has gone out, and we are not only looking at the top 100 brands that women love, but we are now misusing and bringing the gender element into advertising. That we do not have strict regulations. That we can now look at that influencer who should buy your product on the shelf, and you're able to have billboards that do not depict her well. That I bring this to this particular table and ask you all to be ambassadors, be the eyeballs of change, be there to be able to know what is it we are talking about and how do we position it. Gone are the days that we are going to bring the gender-based violence into the advertising space. That you'll be able to look at a woman and all you see are the features that were created by God and use that to depict your brand. That will not sell. And I would like us to be able to go into that and say, when I'm seated in my car with my children and I'm driving against that billboard, what would happen? That woman that you're representing there, what's that image? And when I talk about gender, then it's a cross. It's also then, we should not do the same to the men. So the creative agencies that have got juices of creativity, it's a high time that our narrative is focused on using data to be able to drive your numbers and be able to help you keep, find, and grow your customers. But nothing in the aspect of changing things and being able to mess around with the generations to come on what we are planting, because that is where it sits. So as Marketing Society of Kenya, and standing in strong to be able to ensure that we are guiding you, we are walking with you, with a bigger focus that we are the force behind business, and will ensure that we help ensure that the good news, the successes of your product are because of the right marketing ethos that have been put in the industry. So ladies and gentlemen, when now I can go into my official speech. Members of the Marketing Society of Kenya, it's with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today as the chairperson of our esteemed society at the launch of the top 100 most loved brands by women. This event marks a milestone, a significant milestone in recognizing and celebrating brands that have successfully captured the hearts and minds of women consumers across our nation. In today's ever-evolving market landscape, the influence and purchasing power of women cannot be underestimated. Women are just not consumers. They are decision makers. They are trendsetters. They are brand advocates. They shape markets. They drive innovation and inspire change. As marketers, it is crucial for us to understand and appreciate the unique preference, needs, and aspiration of the female consumers. The top 100 most loved brands by women is actually a testament to the brands that have effectively connected with the women, resonated with their values, and earned their loyalty. These brands have gone beyond simply selling products or services. They have built meaningful relationships with their female consumers based on trust, authenticity, and empowerment. Today we gather to celebrate and validate these brands, to be able to unveil the top 100 most loved brands by women. Let us reflect on the importance of inclusivity, of diversity, of gender equality in marketing. The customer centricity, and also being able to look at the creativity and the excellence by recognizing and honoring these brands. We not only showcase their achievements, but also set a benchmark for others to aspire and emulate. Let us continue to champion the brands that prioritize women voices. And even when I touch on that I would tell marketing directors, marketing managers, brand managers, it shouldn't be a hard sell if you're doing it ethically. It shouldn't be a hard sell if you've got data. It shouldn't be. Your problem should be, did they move off the shelf? Your problem should be, how are we making this? How are we producing more? How are we offering more services? And that is the conversation that should be your problem. That there is reason, and where we are pushing it harder, and even championing it as the chair of the Marketing Society of Kenya, moving from the CMO, who are the chief marketing officers, to the CEOs, because we are decision makers. Marketing managers and directors should have the most high seat up there because of numbers. Because we know and we bring the numbers from our marketing that we do. And of course, it shouldn't be a worry when you have the right research with you. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the brands that have been featured in the top 100 most loved brands by women. Your dedication to understanding and serving the needs of female consumers is truly commendable. And I have no doubt that your success will inspire the others in the industry to follow suit. Let us strive to create a marketing landscape that is not only gender sensitive, but also gender responsive. In conclusion, let us use this occasion to reaffirm our commitment to promoting women's empowerment, advancing gender equity, and fostering a marketing ecosystem that is inclusive, that is respectful, and empowering for all. Of course, together we'll continue to celebrate and elevate the voices of women in the marketing and beyond. And so happy that we have these women now represented in various places. And as Rachel had shared with you, where we met first, and it's an achievement that was not only me, it was for all of us, that we can have women in decision-making positions. And when they sit there, there's so much conversation. And happy that the Nairobi Securities Exchange could understand that to ensure that all the listed companies have a 30% representation of gender, of women represented on the boards. So that when decisions are made about organizations, when policies are made, when changes are made, it touches to ensure that there's inclusivity in all aspects. And it's not about gender, it's about business. And that's what we believe in, even at the Marketing Society of Kenya. And we are elevating this to greater heights. That even is championing conversations that we see these brands that are interacting with us in all the engagements that we have. And just to also use this as a marketing space, we shall be hosting the biggest Africa Marketers Conference Confederation this year in August, that is going to have most of the African countries coming into Kenya, and this will be at the Sarova White Sands. That will be amazing to bring the conversations on, to bring the data, because Africa now is open to all of us. So I would like to thank you all for being here today and being able to be the team that will be the first to even get, and together with the team online, the results of the top 100 women most loved brands. And my sister Eva, and of course Chris, very, very happy with this and what you have done. And it's my blessing that may this not be an end or a small start, but the greatest start to the amazing conversations on how we can turn around the spaces, how we can turn around companies, how we can turn around change narrative around the community, and how we can turn around Kenya and Africa and the world. Thank you so much.
Isn't she amazing? Isn't that the energy you want to see? Thank you so much, Zuhura. This is the same passion that you took to the NSC. They had to take notice, isn't it? They definitely had no choice. They had to take notice. And thank you so much, and thank you for the invite to the Marketers Conference. And speaking of events, it's interesting to note that when we first, and I had the opportunity, and I'm forever grateful that I was able to be with Eva when she was first thinking around this idea of Top 100. And when we first thought about it, we were excited about the rankings and what the ranking could do and the impact we could have in the market. But beyond that, since the implementation, since the commencement of implementation, and you'll find later that there's a reason why I'm being so obtuse with those words. You'll find out later why in the program. Since the commencement, this product has actually birthed 3 other products. We have an annual golf tournament. Any lady golfers in the room? I want to see by a show of hands. Any lady golfers? I see them. September, right? May, which is next. We'll be holding the golf tournament in May. Please keep tabs. We will be sure to share the invite. And yes, we'd love to see you out in the field. Okay, men golfers are also invited. I'm not saying it's a women's only tournament, but yes, it is definitely for the celebration of the brands. We've also have a CEO's breakfast that we've been having to be able to share these conversations and to expand the conversation. And last but not least, an annual festival that will allow for even further deepening of these issues and for us to be able to have yet another opportunity to engage. So that you can see now it's becoming a cycle of activities throughout the year, isn't it? It's a cycle of activities and multiple opportunities for both yourselves as individuals, but also your brands to get involved in this work. So we've been talking about these rankings. We have talked about brands, how important it is. We've been teasing this for now over an hour. It's about time we get to the meat of the matter, isn't it? Now we are ready to give you the actual rankings. But before we do, it's important to get the context, the framework, and to understand how did we get to this top 100. We've already got a snippet that Aramis is in the list, right? Si tunajua Aramis iko. But see, we are happy. But how did Aramis actually get on the list? It's important to know. So it's my great honor at this point to invite Koi Karanja. Koi is going to come up and give us the meat of the matter. She's a senior research manager. She heads the brand health tracking and creative excellence department at Ipsos. Yes, she has over 14 years of experience. You can't tell by her face, can you? Does she look like she has over 14 years of experience, isn't she? Yes, she definitely looks beautiful. And she has worked across various sectors, including SMEs, corporates, industry bodies, government entities, and also the NGOs. She has contributed to the research industry through several papers at the Pan-African Media Research Organization, conferences, and also serving as a panel judge. She's also a trained speaker and a psychologist by training. Now, interestingly, Koi is a trained ballet teacher, a salsa dancer, and a passionate trapeze yoga student. Right? Right? Do you have other aspirations in life besides your day job? Are you jumping over hoops in the evening? So, Koi, we're ready for you. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. I should say that in the edited document that I got of her profile, they didn't add all those, but I know it's to be true. So thank you and welcome. We're ready for you.
Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Good. All right. Hopefully we can get the presentation up on the screen for you. I know I'm standing between you and the rankings, and I hope I don't bore you with statistics, but we just need to get some meat, right, to understand how we did this survey. And we're in our 4th cycle, and with any ranking, we kind of need to make sure we keep to the same methodology, right? So we know whether we can track the brands, are brands moving. I love what our Floet was saying about being adaptable. We'll see what the brand list looks like and who has been adaptable over the past 4 years. So we can move on to the next slide and just kind of tell you how we did this. So we spoke to 1,000 women, actually just over 1,000 women, across all the key regions in Kenya. The regions here are our heritage provinces, for those of you who remember, before you switched to looking at counties. And we wanted to make sure we sampled adult women, so women who are age 18 years and above. I think JP had mentioned 18 to 65 years old. And we looked at women in urban areas, rural areas, and made sure there was a good spread across the board. Now, one thing I want to point out, because I'll highlight it as we move along. Can you see the 18 to 24-year-olds? That's what, a 6-year gap, making up 25% of adult women. When we look at 25 to 34 years, that's about 9, 10, 30%. So did you guys know that we amongst most of us, I assume most of us, are like on the other side in terms of age in Kenya? The average age in Kenya is about 19 years. So we're all old, right? So we're really speaking to Gen Zs, we're speaking to a young demographic. And sometimes when we think about marketing, we think about brands, we think about ourselves, we think about our spaces, what conversations we are having on Twitter or X, on social media, but we need to look beyond, beyond ourselves, because we really are the ancient people in the room. But now what we did is we spoke to the 1,000 and we looked at the population distribution of women across Kenya. And we said, let's make sure that 1,000 represents the population distribution. And we got that from KNBS, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. They did the population and housing census in 2019. And they told us this is where women are, this is how many they are in each region. And it gives us about 13 million women that we're speaking to. So the top 100 brands that we're seeing are a reflection of the 13 million women. You got that? We're ancient. We need to look beyond ourselves, beyond our Nairobi bubbles, beyond our workspaces. So we really understand the Kenyan woman and not just assume. So beyond assumption, I think that's one of the taglines for today. On to the next slide, please. So I want us to start by talking about the care economy. And there's a very interesting document that we came across called the Africa Care Economy Index. And it was really trying to get us, it was something we wanted to look at to set the context for understanding women, understanding the contribution that women currently make to society, to the economy. I loved Eva's statistics. She was talking about the difference between men and women in terms of investment, like 10 times, and what could be a driver of this. So for those of you who don't know, the care economy really refers to a sector of the economy, largely unpaid work, where it's largely done in the house, taking care of the physical, emotional, and educational needs of others. It includes activities such as looking after children, elderly care, caring for those who are sick or those who are differently abled. And other domestic work such as cleaning and cooking. And typically, historically, this has been leaning on women in the households. And it's obviously often undervalued when we look at traditional economic measures, despite it obviously being crucial for societal and economic functioning. So in the report, what we saw, which was quite interesting, was they looked at two things, two aspects of unpaid work. The first is unpaid domestic and caring work, and the second is unpaid subsistence work. So, farming, collecting water, taking care of cattle, etc. And they're looking at the amount of time that is spent in an average day. It's not on this slide. I'll talk about this slide in a bit. Amount of time spent in an average day by men and women. So looking at unpaid subsistence work, it's about 1-to-1 in terms of the time spent. When we look at unpaid domestic and caring work, women spend 4 times as much time in an average day compared to men. And this was done, looked at 4 different markets across the continent of different economic standings. So it kind of just highlights the burden that is already there on women that is not, you don't get money for. And then now how do they balance that with economically generating activities? So it looked further now just to see how do we fare vis-a-vis our peers across the region. Remember, we're a very young country. And one of the things they decided to look at was a population distribution on the continent, looking at the ratio of children, 0 to 14 years, per 100 working people, that's age 15 to 65 years. And when we look at the ratio from 2021, when we started this study, 71%, right? We are the highest by far amongst the low-income countries, and obviously much higher than the higher-income countries. And whilst it is projected to actually decrease, that burden on us as the older generation, in terms of taking care of our young population, will still be there. And especially now when we move to lower socioeconomic settings, to rural settings, that burden will always be there. So I think when we're looking at how do we make sure we can grow the female consumer, we must be cognizant of this. And how do we help her and how do we enable her to participate economically, because I think we've seen from previous years, she has entrepreneurial drives, she wants to build a house, and there's a lot that we can do just to support her in that initiative. Coming closer to home onto the next slide, we see what the trend is like for East Africa. And it's slightly higher, we're slightly above average, but this is a trend that we need to be, really looking at in Kenya because it is being felt by women there. Now, within our data, the Top 100 survey, I think one thing that has kind of been mentioned, but let me make it more explicit, is that beyond looking at the rankings, we want to understand the issues that women face, we want to understand their context, we want to understand what is important to them, so we don't just look at her one-dimensionally. And 28% of women say they're concerned about balancing work and family, right? And it's particularly urban dwellers, which makes sense if you think about how our society is set up. Within rural areas, you get kind of more support from neighbors, family, extended family, when it comes to balancing work and family. But now when you come to urban settings, some of us don't even know our neighbors, right? Do you guys know all your neighbors? Do you know them? Okay. So, generally support systems are much smaller. And that's that burden that is currently being felt from the women that we spoke to in this study. Now, moving along, I just want to further emphasize on the next slide what it is that really demonstrates the caregiver role of women. 7 out of 10 women in Kenya play a critical role in health-related decisions for the household. That's quite a lot, right? And it's quite interesting to see, okay, yes, maybe it's for themselves only, maybe it's for themselves and their kids, or maybe for their parents, extended family, but that's also saying something. When we're looking at the amount of time they spend in terms of care, unpaid care, and also now the mental burden when it comes to taking care of people's health. And what opportunities are there for us to make sure we can help alleviate that mental burden. Sometimes it could be mentally challenging to be negotiating that and having that emotional burden. But we've seen, if you know the top 100 most loved brands from 2021, we have had 8 to 14 different healthcare facilities, hospitals, dispensaries on that list. That was a shock. We're like, hospitals? You know, you're looking maybe for the Nikes, you know, for like the big brands. And those are the assumptions we have always made about what is a big brand. We look at it monetarily. You know, how much value is it generating? But when we look at brand love, there's something that really tells us that this is a very important issue for women on a day-to-day basis. If you can have 8 to 14 different brands, and especially local brands, county hospitals, being mentioned in a list, that is telling. And I think something that we are not always aware of, but let's just keep in mind. Keeping in mind what is her role and what is her context. And I think what was mentioned about the maternity wards, that was something that came up. Prenatal care, postnatal care, I think, Rachel, you had mentioned it. These are things that have come up as really, reasons why they do like these facilities. Remember, we're a very young population. And there's one statement that we looked at in the data where we were asking about some of the concerns women have, and access to quality healthcare was one of them. I think it's amongst the top 5. So it is a key issue, obviously, particularly for women at the bottom of the pyramid. So something for us to keep in mind. On the next slide, I want us to look at a trend that is emerging, and I think what has been mentioned, and even in your booklets, is that close to 1 out of 2 mothers in Kenya is what you call a single mother. She's living with a child, but does not live with a partner. And that's something that has been there, and something that actually popped up. Like, what is the situation when it comes to households and the profile of households today when we're thinking about marketing to families? But there's another trend that's, we're seeing globally called sandwich homes. And it typically refers to adults who are taking care of their children, but also living with their parents or elders. And they're taking care of 2 generations at the same time. And whilst we know in general this is something that happened during COVID, people, because we lost jobs and things were a bit tough, so people, tend to move in with each other. But now that we're out of that, we're seeing that from the data we're able to track and see this seems to be a trend that we need to watch out for. 7.8% of women actually in Kenya are young single mothers who are living with their parents. We tend to find them a bit more in the rural areas. They're 25 to 34 years old, but they're also unemployed and looking for work, and they don't have access to start a business, access to capital to start a business. So there's something there, but how do we help her when it comes to her financial planning? Now, on to the next slide. We did actually have another question where we asked, do you leave financial planning to someone else, or do it yourself? And at least 2 out of 5 of these households, the woman leaves financial planning to someone else, likely her parents. But I don't want us to forget that 3 out of 5 women who are taking care of their children, but also taking on the financial burden of their parents who they're living with. So something for us to keep an eye out for. Right. Okay. I think we can move on, and I want us to look a bit about how she interacts with brands. And I'll start with financial services because 87% of women say they are affected by the high cost of living. We know this. This is something that's been trending, something we've been seeing for a long time. But when we wanted to look at the financial channels that she uses to help her navigate the space, 68% say, yes, I'm a customer of mobile money. 33% say they are a customer of a money lending platform, and 29% speak about banks. I don't know, I was like, okay, wow. Money lending platforms have overtaken banks and traditional financial institutions. And it's interesting because we've seen this is likely driven by mobile. And we looked further in the data and we saw there's an 18% growth in daily usage of mobile money applications since last year. So this is how women are trying to finance their lives, looking at what they're dealing with today. And there's something to say about mobile, right? They're clearly engaging with more mobile, and that's a platform that is something to watch when we look at how do we connect with her into the future. So on the next slide, we went further to just see, okay, what kind of phones do women have? Now, 96% of women have a mobile phone. 52% of them have a smartphone. And this number has been growing over the past 4 years. I think last year it was about 46%. This has gone up by 7% in terms of access. And when on the next slide, when we look at what they're doing on their smartphone on a daily basis, the normal things we know, there's mobile money, there's chatting, there's browsing the internet, but we're seeing a lot of interaction now with audio and video content over static content. So that competition for content is really, there's a lot of fragmentation. I know personally, I'm here trying to navigate when I get home, is it Netflix? Is it my YouTube? Or is it TikTok? TikTok is a very good algorithm. But we're seeing that watching TV, voice calling, posting stories on social media, listening to music, video calling, playing games, they're doing this on a daily basis. At least 30% of them, or 25 to 34% of them are doing it. And then posting pictures on social media. We know that static media is reducing. We've seen how the reels and videos are coming up. But we're seeing this on a large scale, specifically for women, not just in urban areas or in Nairobi, but across the board. So something for us to consider as we create solutions to maybe help her with her financial planning, helping her navigate her space, and engaging her to connect with our brands. Now, the last thing I want us to look at is, on the next slide, is the retail sector. Similar to what we saw within the healthcare sector, or healthcare-related decisions, 70% of women personally shop for their groceries. And obviously that means they control what is happening in the house. That example, Zura, you gave about that ad, it can be a bit ignorant because we're looking at the people who are going to purchase the products. You're possibly alienating them with advertising that does not connect with them, and is not a reflection of them truly. And within these 70% of women, 92% are loyal to their favorite retail outlet. So the ones that they go to are the ones that they actually say, these are my favorite. And this cuts across your large-scale retailers. I see Naivas, Quickmart in the room, but also your small dukas. When we go into granular data, we're seeing, Mama Mary's shop is my favorite brand. These are not things that you expect. But these are still deemed their favorite brand. As much as they might be aware of larger brands, it's something for us to be cognizant of. And whilst we do like brick and mortar, we're seeing 12% of women who shop at brick and mortar actually also shop on e-commerce platforms. And this has actually increased twofold compared to last year. We've seen the smartphone has increased by 7%. Right? Now we're seeing the number of people who are shopping for themselves online has increased twofold, and we see them interacting with more e-commerce platforms. So interesting shifts there, about how we're connecting with a woman, given her demands on a day-to-day basis, and how we can quickly access her, and how she can quickly make her financial transactions, how you can quickly interact with her with your brands, just using the mobile phone. I'd like to wind up this section before we go into the rankings. Really on the next slide, talking about ESG, and it's something that has been a conversation, on boardrooms, and something that we are talking about a lot, but sometimes it just becomes a corporate measure. And I think for us to be responsible brands and to connect with women and her true needs, it's important for us to understand what actually concerns her regarding the different issues along the ESG realm. So high cost of living, 91% of women say it concerns them. Of this 91%, 87% say it is affecting them. That's a big, big thing. And if we're going to, as a brand, help her address any of the issues that do concern her, that is the entry point. And something we've seen time and time again when it comes to the issues: domestic abuse, early marriage, poor access to quality healthcare. Remember, that's a key issue for women and key area they play in. Physical insecurity, sexual abuse, social inequality. These are a whole host of social issues that are concerning women before the governance issues like permits, political representation, corruption, etc. So are we really understanding that? Is there a way in which we are able to connect with women through our social initiatives or CSR initiatives, or even just build it as part of our business? So have sustainable initiatives that actually address her issues and connect with her, but by first recognizing the high cost of living is a big issue for her. On the next slide, I just want us to wind up and say, this is something that we've been able to understand globally. That issue of the high cost of living being a key issue is not just here, it is globally. And when it comes to brands making sure they can have sustainable practices, sometimes as consumers, we're like, yeah, domestic abuse is a bad thing. I would want to make sure I can do what I can to prevent it. How can I contribute? But in reality, we see this say-do gap. That's what people say, but what do they actually do in practice? How many of you have gone to donate money or donate time or donate clothes, to to women in need, for example, in shelters for women who have suffered from domestic abuse, as an example. And the way in which we can help this happen, and you kind of need to make things easy for consumers, is to make sure that we can tie the issues that we're solving as brands to the consumer's wallet. So whatever you do in terms of how you position your brand has to do good for the consumer's wallet, has to take care of that high cost of living issue that is there for her. And by her buying your product, you're able to help her do good for the planet, do good for others, that is society, and also do good for herself. So I want to challenge us, so challenge brands, not just to work on our price, promotion, affordability, that's important. But if we're going to be able to shift the needle, understanding her current context and her current concerns, let's see what we can do to make sure we build in operations that help her sustainably address her key concerns. So thank you. I think that comes to the end of my key points. And I think we can move to the last slide. I hope you're ready for the top 100 most loved brands by women ranking. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are we ready? Are we ready? Truly? Okay, thank you so much. I'll ask the team to just give me a minute to get across the stage. I don't want to interfere in any way with your sight of the top 100. Team, are we ready? Drum roll, please, all of us. It's a participatory process. We can't waste women's energy like that. Okay, the men, we're not saying we're wasting, but okay. I'm waiting for a cue from the Protel team at the back. That we're ready.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 100, HP.
Imagine.
Number 99, Lifebuoy. Number 98, Marvel Sanitary Products. Number 97, Golden Fry. Number 96, Moy's Bridge District Hospital. Number 95, House of Manji. Number 94, Ketepa. Number 93, Masaba Hospital. Number 92, Afia Flour. Number 91, Predator Energy Drink. Number 90, Umi Flour. Number 89, D-Light. Number 88, Makadara Hospital. Number 87, Pembe Flour. Number 86, Nuvita. Number 85, Lido. Number 84, Kakamega General Hospital. Number 83, Kilifi District Hospital. Number 82, Hodari Flour. Number 81, Arsis. Number 80, Cherame Dispensary.
Round of applause. Is some of Koi's preview starting to make sense? Are you starting to understand what defines a brand that a woman loves? But just so that I don't take you through all 100, so that I continue to build the anticipation. I have a trivia question, but let's agree on the rules of this game. It is a game of speed, so quick draw, but also your capacity to engage with my eyesight, right? So I'm going to ask a trivia question, and there's actually an award. Can we see what the award is? You're actually going to win something to take home if you are the first person to put up your hand and tell me what is our theme for today. Yes, go ahead with the stripes. Beyond assumptions. Yes, she gets it. Quick on the draw. She was so fast. We'll give them all together at the end. We'll give you all together at the end, but just so you know what you're working towards, please, does anyone else want this? I shall be back with another choice for you. Let's go on to the next 20.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 79, Kasuku. Number 78, Kagwe Tea. Number 77, Netflix. Number 76, Mara Rice. Number 75, Super Loaf. Number 74, Afia Juice. Number 73, Kericho Gold. Number 72, Broadway. Number 71, Nike. Number 70, Rihanna. Number 69, Omo. Number 68, Harrier. Number 67, Quickmart. Number 66, Bata. Number 65, Infinix. Number 64, X. Number 63, Jade Collection. Number 62, Toss. Number 61, Star. Number 60, Steamer Sacco.
Steamer Sacco. The financial institutions are coming in, isn't it? So yes, we are ready for the next trivia question. Are we ready? Quick on the draw. But before we go to that, it's just really good to see that our online audience are really with us. I can see Catherine Musakali telling us congratulations. She says, we at Women on Boards Kenya are proud to be associated with you, Eva. Yes, any women on boards here? I can see you. So we are also seeing requests for how we can access the data, and I'll be able to have that announcement made even as we proceed, right? So thank you so much to our online audience for staying with us. So our next question, right? Quick on the draw and contact with my eyes. Who was the first female African president? Someone has to put up their hand. Okay, she was the first to comply with the regulations. The regulations require that you put up your hand so that I can choose you. So, who? Yes, you are. I think we can all agree, right? Thank you, but thank you so much. I think we're ready for the next one. Yes, your cup will come. Let's move on.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 59, Umoja. Number 58, Vaseline. Number 57, Gypsy. Number 56, Nokia. Number 55, Tuzo. Number 54, Ramtons. Number 53, Vellum. Number 52, Sunking. Number 51, Total. Number 50, Sunlight. Number 49, High Sense. Number 48, Elianto. Number 47, Lato. Number 46, Family Bank. Number 45, Kenyatta Hospital. Number 44, Sunrise. Number 43, Fanta. Number 42, Sprite. Number 41, Dume.
I can see it's getting hotter and hotter, isn't it? It's getting hotter and hotter. Thank you, thank you. I want to allow the conversation, but I still want to take the program forward. I can see the excitement and also seeing some brands that remind you of childhood, isn't it? And some that you're using on a daily. I feel like I made your work too easy. And let me start by saying to our online audience, apologies that I'm not allowing you to participate in the trivia, mostly because some of you are in South Africa. I think we've seen some people watching from South Africa. Others are joining us from Tanzania. Next time, we'll be ready to DHL the cups to you. But for this time, allow us, right? So for the next one, I'm going to make it much more difficult. And I'm going to ask that you put up your hand because it's a relatively long answer. So decide within yourself whether you think you know the answer, right? So I'm going to ask us, please name all the 7 women governors in Kenya, sitting governors. By hand, you're sure? Yes, go ahead. Please give her a mic. Quick on the draw, quick on the draw. Yes. Let's listen to her.
Susan Kihika.
Susan Kihika. Let's listen. Everyone is trying to do the math and they didn't put up their hand. Let's give her audience. Let's give her audience.
Susan.
Yes.
Gladys Wanga.
Gladys Wanga.
Wavinya Ndeti.
Uh-huh.
The Meru one.
You can't say that.
And Anu Waiguru.
Yes.
And then
you're close. You only have 3 to go.
The one of Lam. Is it not Lam? Rukia. Is it Rukia?
Sorry?
Lam.
I might have to give this chance to someone else, so please work harder.
No.
Keep going. Let her keep going.
I've tried. How many do I have?
You have only 3 more to go, but it can be a team effort. Table, help her.
Chani Kwale, the one of Kwale, I don't know her name. Fatuma Chania.
Yes, your colleague has it. Uh-huh.
And then Anna have said. Cecily Mbarire.
Good, Cecily Mbarire. And last but not least, the Meru governor is?
Mwangaza.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I love it. Especially I love that it's women on boards who are doing this labor for us. Thank you so much for representing women on boards on this. Asante. I think it has gone to a deserving table, isn't it? Team effort there a bit at the end, but fine, we'll take it. So please, let's proceed.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 40, K-Gast. Number 39, Jamaa. Number 38, Cadbury. Number 37, Enab Koi Dispensary. Number 36, Fresh Fry. Number 35, Oppo. Number 34, Mwea Pishori. Number 33, copier. Number 32, Yetu Sako. Number 31, 1 Acre Fund. Number 30, Nice and Lovely. Number 29, Mitumba. Number 28, Vitrin. Number 27, Aramis. Number 26, Coca-Cola. Number 25, Nivea. Number 24, Kenpoli. Number 23, Dovu Flour. Number 22, Del Monte. Number 21, Raha Premium.
I've seen some favorites there. Let's clap for the winners, especially the one that you think is closest to your heart. Thank you. At least Chris's promise has come to pass. We saw Aramis, though it was pronounced very... Did you hear how it came out? Aramis. I was like, who? Aramis. VG, good to see you. So thank you so much. And even as we proceed, my next question, I'm hoping I'll come a bit softer. That one was a bit heavy. So my next trivia question is a bit softer. What is this year's IWD, International Women's Day theme? Yes, go ahead. You had it. You had it. Go ahead. Give her a mic. Oh, she already had the mic. Okay, sorry. It was about catching my eye, though she has struggled. I know.
Inspiring inclusivity.
Yes. So she had it. But maybe I'll give her a consolation prize later. Thank you so much. We appreciate inspiring inclusivity. That's our theme. Let's move on to the next 10, right? Next 20. Go ahead.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 20, M. Shwari. Number 19, Dollar. Number 18, Delamere. Number 17, NHIF. Number 16, Mount Kenya Milk. Number 15, Soft Care. Number 14, Taifa Flour. Number 13, Techno. Number 12, Momias. Number 11, Cabras.
Thank you. Sugar seems to be close to women's hearts, isn't it? Sugar seems to be really close to our hearts. Thank you so much. My last and final trivia question, your final chance to win a cup. When was the first report of 100 launched? Yes, black shirt. 2021. Thank you. She was really quick on the draw. Thank you so much, and that is our last trivia question. Now we are getting to the actual hot seat, top 10. And for this session, we will be, for each announcement that we make, we will be giving them their trophy. So I'm going to ask the team that will be supporting that. If you hear me call your name, please come up and help us to issue the awards. So yes, everyone that's in the top 10 does get to go away with a trophy. You can see how hot the fight was.
There are some categories that tend to be neck to neck, isn't it? Are you seeing how interesting that is? Kathy, let me hand this back to you. Thank you. I think we're ready. Are we ready for the first announcement? Yes? Team, go ahead.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 10. Apple Electronics.
Apple. I don't know if they have a representative in the room. Apple clearly have beaten out the competition. Do we have any representative in the room? Alice, there you are. Welcome, congratulations. I'd like to call the QuickMart team. QuickMart is one of the sponsors of today's event, so you get to hand over the award to Apple, represented by Wangare. Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. QuickMart, we value your partnership. Thank you for being part of the reason why we could meet today. Congratulations to Apple for being so close to women's hearts. Yes. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Let's get a good photo op. Please look at the cameras. Smile. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to both Apple and QuickMart for being brands that support women. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you. I believe we're ready for the next one. Number 9. Sorry?
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya.
Sorry, did we get a good photo?
Number 9.
We did? So I keep giving them the photo
Menengai.
opportunity. That's fine. Menengai. Do we have a representative for Menengai in the room? Menengai, do we have a representative? I don't want to block out their chance. They clearly didn't know that they were going to win. Okay, I think we'll be able to send them the award. Let's move on to number 8.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 8. KCB.
KCB Bank. Kenya Commercial Bank, congratulations. You are number 8. Do we have a representative? Yes, we have a whole table. The whole bevy of ladies, please come. I'd like to request Hot 96. Hot 96, who are also sponsors of today's event, to come up and give us the award. Congratulations, ladies, and thank you so much. We really appreciate the partnership. Do we have someone from Hot 96 to give over the award? I don't see them. It is fine. Oh, we do. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So please look at the Protel team right at the back where there's a number of, you can see the hand raised? Yes. So let's see, who are you? The team leader? Please receive it on behalf of the team. Please look at the back there. Please look at the team at the back. Thank you so much. Congratulations, KCB. The women of Kenya have given you their vote. We're ready for the next.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 7. Airtel.
Airtel have fought their way to the top 10. I'm seeing their competitors clapping, so it's a good day for all. Airtel, do we have a representative? Yes, there she comes. I'd like to request someone from MultiChoice to please come and give over the award. Thank you. Airtel, congratulations. Yes, thank you. Please look at the bank of cameras at the back there. Please hold. Sorry, let me just do it so
Airtel.
that we yes, thank you so much to both MultiChoice and Airtel for supporting women. Airtel, congratulations. Go ahead.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 6, Naivas.
Naivas, congratulations. At least I can see the brand, so I'm sure they're here. Naivas, please come up, all of you. Let's give them a round of applause as they come up. I love the branding. This man came to win, didn't he? When he left his house, he came to win. Thank you and congratulations. I'd like to invite the Citizen team to come and help us to hand over this award. Citizen TV or Citizen Digital? Yes? Thank you. Congratulations, Naivas. You have won the hearts of Kenyan women. Congratulations. And we have, yes, the representative from the Citizen team. Let's look to the back. Yes, let's look to the back there. The one with the hands raised. Let's give him a minute. Congratulations. 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 Thank you so much. Great team there. Clearly, teamwork makes the dream work. We're ready for the next one. Thank you.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 5, Ajab.
Thank you. It is the time of Ajab for chapos and all those other goodies. Ajab, congratulations. Welcome to the stage. Yet again, a man who came to win. At this point, I'd like to invite Ken Karaoke to come help us to give this award. Welcome to the stage. Wow, you can see now your hard work is paying off, right? Congratulations, come up to the stage. Welcome. Asante sana. It seems there are relationships here that must be celebrated even before we hand over. Yes, thank you. Maybe you can hold the receipt, the certificate, and then just turn the award this way so that we can see her. Yes, so that her face can come out clearly. Thank you, congratulations. Please look up at the back there. No, yes, come forward, yes. Then look at no, we're not done yet. Sorry. Look up at the back. Please go through there. Yes. For the gentleman, I can understand. For the lady, we don't have insurance. Well, we do, but we would not like to use it right now. Thank you so much, and congratulations to Ajab. Next.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 4, Samsung.
Congratulations, Samsung. Yes, there she comes. I'd like to invite Chantal Moriah of BSD to come and help me to give this award. Congratulations. Interesting about the lovely, congratulations to the whole team. Yes, look forward and look to the bank of cameras. Congratulations.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much. Well done. We're ready for the next presentation.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 3, Equity.
Equity Bank. Yes, yes, yes. These people are here bursting with joy. I just love this. The ladies of Equity Bank are here. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. And Oga, our Oga in the room, Chris Gedaiga, you're presenting to us this lovely award. For us, this lovely award. Oh, the ladies of Equity Bank, I just love it. Congratulations. Clearly, if it's a women-led team, you can see why they've succeeded, right? Thank you so much. Round of applause. Let's separate the certificate from the... Yes, yes. Well done. Look up at the top. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, and keep up the good work, touching the lives, the hearts, and definitely the pockets of Kenyan women. Yes. We're ready for the next one?
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 2, Safaricom.
Safaricom! The sheer joy. Welcome, welcome up to the stage. And I'd like to invite Eva to come and give over this award. You know, I must say that sitting here, let me give you some insight. I have watched this team cheer and celebrate for every winner on this list. And it's wonderful to see women supporting women. And also the business. Cecile. Congratulations, Lucille. Thank you. Welcome. Well done. It's because of them, right? So let's look up to the back. Thank you. And now, we are ready for the number 1 in the top 100 brands most loved by women. Let's see.
These are the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Number 1,
Drum rolls.
M-Pesa.
M-Pesa! Welcome back on stage, ladies. Welcome back on stage. I'd like to request Chris, Eva, and Zura to please come up to give this award. So it's one thing to be good at communications, but when you touch the pockets of the women, you get their support. So thank you so much. If I could have more of you come, yes, come this way, come this way. Thank you. Yes, Chris, if you can mix up the photo. Let's give Chris some room between us. Yes. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Safaricom and M-Pesa, for being the brand that's most loved by women 2024. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Just a few words from Team Safaricom, Team M-Pesa. We are so honored to be winning this award, to be chosen by women who are the backbone of this country as, you know, the number 1 and 2 most loved brands is something we don't take for granted, especially when our purpose is all about transforming lives of Kenyans. So we are very, very grateful. Thank you to all the Kenyan women who voted in this, and thank you to everyone in the room. Well done, team.
Thank you so much. Hasn't it been wonderful? Isn't it great to hear from the women directly, from all the different provinces, to see the different businesses that they support? Allow me to step off because I want us to quickly transition to the panel session. I'd like us to please have the tables up. I recognize that we would like to close shortly after the hour of 11, so I would like to request that the panelists be prepared, and I will call them up one by one. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to request to invite my panel of experts. And really what we're going to do is have just a quick conversation that I'm sure will mirror some of the conversations that you're already having at your table around our response to this research and the data that we are finding. I'd like to invite Caroline Armstrong, chairperson of New Faces, New Voices, to come up on stage and join us. I'd also like to invite Ms. Moihaki Muragori. She's the principal at Paukwa. She'll also be joining the panel. Dr. Nelly Bosire, wonderful to see you again, Daktari. Please join the panel. And Enoch Wandera, the representative of the other gender on this panel. Thank you. Please join. I'll take the last. Thank you so much to my panelists. Thank you for taking time to come and be our experts for this day. I'll ask you to start from the very end and just give me your first reactions. What have you felt? What have you heard? What is your initial reaction to seeing this? And as you do that, please introduce yourself. Just let us know who you are and describe yourself in the way that you'd like to be described. Thank you.
Paukwa. Sahani.
Ya mchele.
Giza.
Ya mwizi.
Na kiboko.
Cha mtoto.
Najijua. My name is Moihaki Muragori. I'm a storyteller. I'm enamored by the power of stories and what they can do for us.
Sorry, Moihaki, allow me to interrupt you. I'm going to request that we have silence. I know we've come from a very high energy session. I'd like us to now just lower our energies a bit so that we can give the panel
a chance to communicate. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. So as I was saying, I love stories and what stories do for us. And I run a platform called Paukwa, which is all about celebrating and telling Kenyan stories. So my reactions to this ranking, I have a couple. There was one car brand. Which one? Harrier. Because where? Antiwa Harrier. Isn't that a story? It's an aspiration of where women want to be and where they see themselves. And there's power in that. The second thing is the highest ranked, what do I call it? Beauty product. Aremis. Farmers. Again, interesting because it's not a brand that was initially actually developed for women, right? But it has beat Valon, it has beat Vaseline, the things that actually were. And there's a story behind that, and we need to figure out what it is. And the last reaction that I'll share is that, funny enough, there was only one NGO, right? And a lot of NGOs in this country say that they serve women. There was one NGO, and it wasn't even a health NGO. 1 Acre Fund. What does it do? It transforms the lives of smallholder farmers. Women are farmers, women are looking for economic empowerment. Those were my first reactions.
Great, thank you. Caroline, over to you.
Hi all. Okay, can I do the Kenyan thing? Okay, so I'm Caroline Armstrong. I'm one of those people that does very many things. But in the context of here, I chair an organization that works exclusively in the implementation space. And we focus on women only. And we work towards economic empowerment and the financial inclusion of women. Okay? I am also a board director, a board chairperson, a consultant, and an executive coach. And retired. The things that stuck out for me started right from the beginning. And the first thing that stuck out for me is how we perceive the top 100 brands, okay? The most loved brands by women. And what I would like to do is ask all the men to stand up. Yeah, you heard correctly.
All the men rise up.
You know, it's amazing. If I was giving away cups, they might have moved faster. Okay, now, if we look around the room, the men are the minority, and thank you for humoring me and standing up. The men are the minority. So to the men in the room, now you know what it feels like to be a woman generally. Okay? But equally, you can go ahead and sit down. What I would like to look at is how many women are in the room. Women, stand up. Just try. Even in your beautiful high heels, just stand. Now look around at how many women are in the room. Thank you. Just sit down. Now the reason that I'm saying this is because this room is not reflective of the percentage of decision makers. So a lot of organizations have seen top brands loved by women, top 100 most loved brands by women, and have asked women to come to the room. But then when you go back into the corporate to make decisions and develop products and do all of those other things, the balance will completely shift. So what I would love to see is more men in the room consuming the data. Because it was hearts, hands, heads, and very importantly, wallets. So we talk about the things that we control, and we talked about household bills and airtime and education and healthcare. The reality is we also control real estate. There's a difference between owning real estate and controlling it. In Kenya, we own 2% of land, 2. But who makes the decision on whether we're living in this apartment or that one? Who makes that decision really? Okay? Who makes the decision on where we're buying a plot? That plot was chosen really by who? Yeah? So there are things that women are controlling that because we're driving the decision in the background, but we may not have had the signature, does not mean we are not driving the decisions. So for me, the top 100 speaks to the huge economic power that women wield. And we just need to be aware of what we actually wield. But the thing that also stuck out was the brands that have been there for the longest time are being unseated. Omo has been left behind by Toss and Sunlight. Okay? Bata has been left behind by Umoja. Then when we look at the statistics Koi was taking us through about financials, okay, and how much of our time is spent in the mobile money space, it was very unsurprising to me that number one was M-Pesa. What was surprising to me is how many banks featured. How many financial institutions featured. We have more people that were tracking health and flour. We have more people representing flour than financial services. Okay, so those are kinds of the things that stuck out for me, but you'll see that I see them with a bias. But it came down to the economic power that women wield. And we need to know that and stand in it. Just because you don't have 10 zeros after the number you earn does not mean you do not wield economic power. And then the future is feminine. I don't like it. I want the present should be feminine. The present. Okay. And that's because our narrative is always Africa has potential. Women have potential. It is untapped. We are the future. Why are we not the today? Why are we still discussing potential of tomorrow versus achievement of today? So those are the things that stuck out for me.
Great, thank you. Daktari? Yes, let's give her a round of applause. Yes. Daktari, over to you.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Nelly Bosire, and I normally start by a disclaimer that I only treat women. I'm sorry, men, but today it's a women's world. And if I treat men, I'm sure they don't want the world to know. So I think apart from just being an obstetrician and gynecologist, I also do many things. But chiefly, I'm a huge advocate for healthcare. And you'll find me in those spaces all the time. Health, policy, anything that affects how the woman is treated, that's my space. What stuck out for me today, and I will just stick to healthcare. I would like to ask, where did all the private hospitals go? Not even one. Not even one. And what does that speak to? It actually speaks to the disparity that we have in access to quality healthcare. So you're going to find that if we were to take that same poll with the women in this room, I'm sure the result will not feature what we saw. But we spoke to the true Kenyan representation, and that tells you that our women still go to the public health sector. So can you imagine my pain today that we are in a nationwide strike in public facilities, which means the true representation today is not accessing service, okay? And what do women go to do in hospital? Do you realize that 3/4 of the time they're not sick? They're bringing the next generation forth. So right here, right now, today we have disadvantaged two people in one. The mother who needs to have her baby safely, and the new voter coming into this country who is being born into such uncertain conditions that there's no guarantee that they will not end up with cerebral palsy. So that really stuck out for me. And when I'm looking at the names I'm seeing here, the reason these facilities are being spoken so highly about is not about what I, as a medic, think is the quality of care. They're speaking to the patient experience. And that is exactly a true representation of what women want. I can give you high-tech medical care, but if I don't make you feel like a human being, if I don't come across like I care about your well-being, if I don't come across like I'm here to make sure that your baby lives today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And we've had the biggest complaint from women about what we are now calling obstetric violence. It's not a term I like. But I'll tell you that some of the places women have delivered and have loved the best are the little health centers where the midwife is your neighbor at home, She knows you by name. She delivered your 7 babies. She knows everything about you. So it feels personalized. You actually feel touched at a personal level. And that's why we'll talk about Ainabkoi Health Center, about Makadara Health Center. I've met women in Kenyatta who could afford to deliver across the street in Nairobi Hospital, but they say, nope, all my babies are being born here. I don't even care if we're sharing beds. This is where I'm coming. So for me, I'm looking at government and the fact that they ranked NHIF as number 17. The transition to SHIF cannot drop the ball. We need to know what's going to happen to free maternity, and we need concise information on how we are going to ensure that women will continue to safely deliver. Otherwise, as we speak right now, Kenya is not doing well in maternal mortalities. Can you imagine Uganda and Tanzania beating us? And yet we are the people here who are doing robotic surgery. I mean, who cares about robotic surgery if the mother will die of postpartum hemorrhage in the first place? Women have spoken. They're not asking for a lot. They're asking for quality, patient experience at a very basic level. And for me, that's powerful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Enoch Wandera. I lead client service at Ipsos in Kenya, and I was also very involved in this survey in its 4th year. What really stood out for me, apart from the light moment about Auntie Waharia, which was at 68, and by the way, it was the only motor vehicle in the whole list there. So there is a story there. But for me, I think when you look at top 100, the brands that came out as really, really small brands. How many remember Ndume, you know, those brands? To me, it says there's a story behind entrepreneurship with the women here, because they are really playing back the brands that are really speaking to them from local entrepreneurship point of view. So, and that basically means that all these entrepreneurship initiatives that are being driven locally and being really, really present in their life. Because if you look at all those brands, and I counted, a lot of them were in the area of food. So provision of food at home. And then, like Dr. has said, there's a whole list of local healthcare facilities. So from Kenyatta National Hospital all the way to Masaba, all the way to Ainabkoi, the whole list, I think I was writing them down, Kilifi, Kakamega, Cheramoi, you know. So it says that even there's a big role of the woman within the setting that she is in terms of extending life. And what is life? Life is basically what we are eating, how we are moving, how we are sleeping, and how we are providing for ourselves in terms of even the money. And that's why you see the financial brands there. You saw M-Pesa. Someone was actually pinging me when M-Pesa came up and said, yes, mambo ni message ya M-Pesa. That is very, very important. So I think at the end of it, my main message is around that power of entrepreneurship, and then, of course, being present as a brand or as a business. So probably we'll continue with that conversation as we go along. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And really what you're talking, one of the statements that you've repeated severally is that there's a story there, isn't it? We keep hearing, even us, we're telling ourselves that there's a story there that needs to be unpacked. And I'd like to take us back to Moihaki as a storyteller. And if you think about some of the brands that we saw, like Netflix, and the opportunity that Netflix has provided for storytelling across the continent, what do you think we need to do in order for this message of the power of women, that, like what Caroline has articulated so clearly, how do we tell it, and what are the opportunities that we can take to do so?
Thank you, Rachel. So first and foremost, women need to stop being seen as a single block. You know, the way that we say that Africa is not a country and all of those things. I love what Chris said about we need to go beyond pink, right? I think about my own household. 3 women. Myself, 3 women live in my household. We're more than that, but myself, my housekeeper, my 19-year-old daughter. We're all adult women, right? We're all urban dwellers. So again, we have this similar hat. Then you start disaggregating us. What she needs, what my daughter needs as one of those people between 19 and 24, and what my housekeeper and I need are very, very different. My housekeeper and I both have children. What the care economy means for us is very different. I think about how I have to get home by 5:30 in order to be with my kids. She thinks about how she gets to go home once a month, right? We're women, we're facing the same challenge in terms of wanting to take care of our kids. It's a different story. So when we're talking about our stories and when brands want to engage with us, they really need to go beyond the single story. As we've seen in the rankings here, the thing that I think that was common was that we're all looking for ease. We're all looking for convenience. We're all looking for how do we deal with our time scarcity being met. We all want quality, but at an affordable price, as you saw, 91%, the high cost of living. And we want to make sure that whatever we're investing in is actually the right thing. We have brands that we knew growing up, like I knew growing up, they were right near the 100 side versus the ones that were at the top of the list. Let's just take an everyday one. Chai. Everybody knows Ketepa. I would have thought, given the price point, Ketepa would have been higher. But the highest ranking tea was Kericho Gold, right? Which is a premium brand. Again, that speaks to aspiration, just like Antiwaharia. And so as we tell the stories and how we want to engage with women, and even as you see some of these new brands come up, some of the flower brands, some of the Unga brands, it really is speaking to those elements of who we are in our disaggregated lives. Our ease, time scarcity, convenience. Do you see me and the challenges that I face in trying to deal with my everyday realities? Not just seeing me as a woman, therefore I get branded with the pink things, and only as a mother, right? Because as we've seen, we're a young society. And a lot of the challenges which I will face, my 19-year-old daughter, will be in a very, very different space. So as we try to embrace what does storytelling mean for us and which are the stories that we need to amplify, I really want to encourage organizations to think broadly, think creatively, and don't lump us by virtue of gender, location, or pocket. See us as people. Thank you.
Thank you. That's so powerful, isn't it? Don't you want to be seen as a person? Yeah. And we've seen that by allowing this to be a national survey, some organizations or businesses, you've never heard of them as someone potential who lives in Nairobi, but they're really important in this country because they're important to a group of women in another region, isn't it? So Caroline, allow me to bring us to just thinking about the financial and corporate structures, because you do sit in a number of boards and chair some. So another area of work that Eva Moriah has spearheaded is the issue of supplier diversity. And so thinking about how, as much as we're talking about women loving brands, how many women are involved in their supply chain? And how do you think we can tie these two issues to come together to benefit women?
Thank you. It's a bit of a mixed bag because first we need to change mindsets. All right, we really need to change mindsets. And the reason that I say that is because in the diversity agenda, a lot of organizations to include women have created women and youth, okay? As though we're all the same thing. I mean, I would love to believe that I equal women and youth, but I'm a little bit beyond. But we're still lumped in this category of women and youth, and then we're allocated percentages. So like if you look at the public sector, we're allocated, all of us, women and youth, not that there's a full overlap. We said there's 13 million adult women, okay? And we're about half. So half of us are relegated to 30%, all right? So already there, it's not fair. So yes, they say it's allocated to us, but what actually happens in institutions, and I've worked in the public sector, is what you do is you allocate specifically. So you say, right, these specific contracts will go to women and youth. And you do things like, what do you think the first one is that people allocate? Cleaning.
Cleaning
services. Okay, the first supplier that they'll allocate for women will be cleaning. Then they will look at catering. Okay, so they will look at none of these things that we may want to participate in. So women have a very hard time, for example, in the construction sector. getting any kind of tender in the construction sector. So first we get given token contracts, okay, and classified in bigger groups. So we get the token contracts. So we're automatically kept small. So we will get a percentage of procurement, but we will get the small ones, okay? Corporates will be doing the same thing. So the first is how we're classified. The second is, have we grown to scale to get the bigger contracts that we want? And then we go into a vicious cycle. So when we looked at the things that concerned women, the results that were released today, the first thing that horrified me was the first 4 things on the list of concern, once we went beyond the 91% being concerned about the cost of living. The first 4 things: early marriage, domestic violence, physical insecurity, and access to quality healthcare. And the reason that horrified me is because of this thing, this one word that I say is a complete sentence, and that one word is "wa." Okay? And the reason I felt that way is in 2024, when we want to say the future is feminine, which I call the present, but the future is feminine, our first 4 concerns are our physical well-being. Physical. That's where we are in 2024, okay? But then you find from there, you start going through to the other statistics, and those were like 45%, by the way, okay? Then you come down to 40, 42, and they're talking about access to capital, right? That's very high. So it speaks to the aspiration, what women want to achieve, because right after physical security, right after your physical well-being is access to capital, which means we want to grow, we want to do bigger, we want to do more, and let's call a spade, we want to make more money. Unless there's somebody in this room that doesn't. Okay, yeah. But to do that, part of that access is being able to be a supplier of whatever it may be. Whatever you choose your market to be, you are supplying a market, all right? But you need to be able to finance your own growth. There are 2 ways of financing growth. First, the gender pay gap in Kenya is actually getting worse, not better. So we've gone from the 30%, the 30s pay gap in the early 2020s to we're now over 40. Okay, so the gender pay gap is getting worse. So even if I want to have a side hustle, I'm earning less than the guy next to me, doing the same job. So I have less available capital because remember, I'm also a caregiver. So automatically, I have less available capital. Then, so that's the first one. Then the second one is I'm trying to access debt. Okay, so whether I'm going to a bank or a SACCO, and we saw 2 SACCOs on today's list, I'm going to a bank or a SACCO, it's still called credit. Yeah? 3 challenges, and they are global, and they are replicated in Kenya. And it is a vicious cycle. Number 1, women are less educated. Therefore, they are then put into the earn less income. Earn less income means I am able to buy less assets. Without assets, I have no security. Without security, I can't get finance. And because I can't get finance, I can't buy more assets. I can't buy more. It's a vicious cycle. So the first is the tokenism of the supply chain. The second is for us to actually grow our capacity and start asking for help, getting help where we want it, because we also start from confidence. Okay? So we don't believe we deserve. Women need to believe they deserve. When you ask for business, when you ask for loans, when you ask for a promotion, when you ask for salary, start from believing you deserve. When you believe you deserve, you then change the dynamic to what you will be able to access. You then access more credit, and banks are one channel. There are a lot more. AFDB created a $10 billion fund. The sad thing was 30% was drawn. And where do you think on the continent that was? It was not East Africa. The 30% that was drawn was West Africa. So women are being told, you've got $10 billion that this bank can't wait to give you. And where are we? Talking about it. Okay? So it is the idea, and then let me just do a quick plug of my organization, now that I have a microphone. one of the things we do is we build that capacity, having learned that our context is not from teaching you financial accounting, and the terms I don't like financial literacy, which suggests you're illiterate. You're running a household budget. You're not financially illiterate, okay? You just need to learn a different way of saying the same numbers. So it is building that confidence, the capacity, the understanding when you speak to this person that has the money and you want the money, what is that language that you both of you need to be speaking to be able to get it? So that's where the connect comes between the two, but also those are the things that hold us down. And really it starts at base with confidence, is what across programs that we have done is that we find. We don't believe we deserve. And a thing like this creates that data-driven, because this is the 4th year of women being given a voice, numbers being put behind it. And remember, the top 10 is not just, yay, these are the brands in the top 100 or the top 10, the information on why. And so I would tell women entrepreneurs, start with yourselves. Start with ourselves. Because then if we can make each other happy, then we go out and we make others happy.
Oh, thank you. Start with ourselves, right? Let's get the women happy. We'll definitely make the money. Thank you. Daktari, so if we think about, it's wonderful to see the public hospitals and those centers, and thank you for giving us the insights. But if we think about brands that manufacture products that are supposed to be targeted towards women, do you think they listen when we put out such information? And if so, how do we make sure that that feedback loop is consistent and get them to pay attention so that it makes sense?
Wow, you just said it, took it right out of my mouth. And it was, I mean, even from the health sector, it was very clearly demonstrated. We have dozens of private health insurance providers. Why didn't any make the list? Because women, and Caroline has very well put it, will struggle with capital. No one's going to give you a medical cover before you pay the full year's premium upfront. But NHIF enabled us to pay monthly. And guess what? Of all the contributors who are actually contributing at an individual level, not through their employer, the majority of contributors are women. They are the ones in small-scale business. They are the ones who will save their 500 shillings at the end of the week and pay for the month. So what happens then? How do we start to modify this? Because if we don't do that, it doesn't matter what it is we're producing. And it's the same thing with the manufacturers. Like there is the clear, women are, what we've had here, that we're not the same. But we all want the same things, and that's a fact. We all want a phone. We're just going to decide whether it is an Apple or it's a Nokia or it's an Oppo. But we all do realize that we need to have a phone. So throughout all of our products, the one thing that the products I think up here have managed to do is to ensure that they have something for every woman. This is why Safaricom will never stop trending. It will always be accessible to the person who has 10 shillings for credit and the person who's able to load a bundle of 5,000 shillings every month. How are our manufacturers listening to us? Because that's huge. And if you're able to actually segregate that and understand that women are disproportionately saddled with expenses that they should otherwise be shared. And this is as basic as down to the household where you ask, how many men actually buy diapers? How many men say, today we have a newborn child, what I give you for household expenses, I need to top up because the newborn has come with additional costs. So what happens? That disproportionately falls to women. And it continues to reinforce the cycle that Caroline has mentioned, that at which point then do we accumulate enough to get assets? And that then leads to the vicious cycle. And one thing I always tell people, if you got married young, you have a very, literally almost 100% chance that your daughter is going to follow in your steps. So when we talk about the threats, the existential physical threat to women as being early marriage, which leads to early pregnancies, which leads to, obviously, gender assault in the homes, because intimate partner violence is actually the leading reason why we actually see these women, then we're never going to break that cycle. And these products must be thinking like that to enable women to say, look, if I walked out today, I can actually afford what we call the economy ya kadogo to allow me to the next level. And that must be able to be visible in every aspect of products that women need, products that women use, to enable each and every one to access that. So this will always remain something that I believe only women can change. Only women can actually change this because they see the need, they understand the need, they target the need. And I'm sure in a lot of the companies that are actually here doing well, a lot of those initiatives are actually driven by women within those companies.
Thank you. That's a powerful call to action, isn't it? That it's only women that are going to be able to do it. And we're happy to see this progress that we're making. Enoch, I'd like to invite you to close this panel for us. And as we do so, I'd like to request Musyoki Kivindio, who has the awards for the panelists, to please get them ready. And Enoch, as we close, I mean, it's wonderful, it's been great. We are so excited to see what has come out of the work that you and the team have done. Now, looking forward, what do you see for this research going forward? And how do you think we can best get the value out of it?
Thanks. I think given that now we are on the 4th, and I think Eva laid the foundation very well, we are looking for our 5th birthday, which is next year. And next year, we are looking at probably 5 things. One is how do we expand this to new geographies? There is a big conversation around new frontier markets, and in these markets, we are looking at markets like DRC, markets like Ethiopia, markets that are really popping up to show that there is potential and there is commercial conversations that are happening there. So that's one area. The other area is how to create connections and partnerships. Already, I think Rachel mentioned there's golf going on. There are other assets that we are building out of it. But we hope that some of these initiatives are going to open up more connections. And beyond the connections is about partnerships that will actually build new areas of impacting businesses, impacting institutions that actually want to contribute to the progress of women in the society. And here we're talking about things like data for good. For example, from this data that actually Koi has shared and what we have in the background as well, is that we can connect them to other data sets and be able to surface issues or opportunities where you as brands or businesses can actually go back and sponsor this study going forward, but also use the same insights to impact other businesses. For example, someone sitting here in this room might want to reach out to an ABCOI health dispensary and find out what is happening there, what can we do to help to make sure that now we become better. There are other opportunities around data science as well, because this data can actually be connected to other data sets, like the Kenya Demographic Household Survey by KNBS. We can tie in this data to that and be able to get even more powerful insights around what to be done going forward in the 5th year. So I think there are many opportunities. We are just looking at bigger into the 5th year, bigger and more impactful in terms of how this is taken forward. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Enoch, and thanks for the call to partnership. That basically, because you've done the backbone of the work, we can come in as different brands to be able to unpack further, to get to understand our specific niche market better, and therefore to be able to serve the women that we serve better. Thank you. I'd like to wrap up. Muhaki, would you like to say something? I see you holding the mic up.
I am, because I just want to leave people with one thing. I love alliterations. It makes things easy to remember. Final takeaway. We want adaptable, Aremis. We want affordable, Mitumba. We want authentic, but we also want aspirational.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Clearly the storyteller with us, right? So thank you. Am I closing out? Any last words? Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the ladies for taking their time, and also you, Enoch, and for taking their time. And Musyoki, I believe you have something to hand over to them. So thank you. Welcome. Do you need them?
Thank you very much for making time to join us today. Thank you very much for contributing to the discussion. Thank you very much for supporting us, your time, your intellectual property, and being part of this. So, by this beautiful, lovely shuka, I commission thee and give you the power to represent and be all that appertains to supporting top 100 most loved brands by women. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is there a blue one for Enoch? Thank you very much, Enoch. A round of applause for this lovely team. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Hello, hello. We're not done yet. Thank you for staying with us until this time. I am Chantal Muredi, Head of Projects at BSD Group. People call me a promise keeper. So essentially what I do at BSD is I make sure that any project, any brand that we handle, I make sure that we stay on strategy, on time, and on budget. So thank you. You are our potential customers and clients, and I'm glad to have you here and host you. So I'm here to just thank all the sponsors. I know some may have left, so I just want to say that thank you to Protel, to KCB, to QuickMart, and any other sponsor that I've not mentioned. Please feel free to pick your certificate from the registration desk. We'll be happy to just award you on that. So thank you so much. I hand it over back to Rachel.
Thank you so much. And I think as we come to the end of this celebration, I think we've had a good time, haven't we? Have we learned something? Do we have something to take away? As we prepare to give the vote of thanks, I'd like to ensure that we get a chance to have feedback from you, not just for me to hear some yeses and some smiles. So at the back, the Protel team, if you could kindly put up the feedback slide, to enable us to then have a QR code through which we can be able to hear your feedback. And for me is to say thank you so much. I really appreciated being your moderator this morning. Thank you for being such a fun group. And next time, quick on the draw, Cindy, so that you get a cup. Quick on the draw. At this point, I'd like to invite Enoch back. Enoch will be giving us the vote of thanks and closing the forum for us. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Rachel, first we clap for Rachel, isn't it? She's been wonderful. She's been amazing, right? Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for staying with us up to this end. There's a whole list of people to say thank you to. And we, first of all, appreciate everyone. So I'll just go through the list quickly, because I know we are all now rushing to go back to our desks. And to start with, I think at the very top, we would not have had this without the technical support of the Protel team, because we have our online audience. Thank you very much, the online audience. But the Protel team has really made it possible for us to go through smoothly. Back to the study, there is a whole team that was really behind this work and burning the midnight oil. I would like to recognize Koi, Janet, and I think there's someone also back in the office who was data crunching, Simon, who did a lot of midnight oil to make sure that we had the numbers in on time. So well done, Koi and team, the technical team. On the technical side as well, the BSD team, I think, Eva, your team is amazing. When we came here, we were like, okay, this is a lot of work that has gone through this in terms of making sure that the event really happened. And there's also the assets that have actually supported this, the branding, everything. So well done to the BSD team. It's a whole list. You know how Eva works. There's a whole clan, so well done to that. And then I will come to Eva herself and Chris. I think where the dream started and the dream is going on. So we are talking about the 5th birthday and the 6th and the 7th and the 10th. It's amazing. So well done, and thank you for the trust that you've given, the sponsorship. They're always very, very supportive. When you ask Eva for this, she will always just find out, how can I help? Or Chris, how can I help to make sure that this really happens? Then we have the panelists, of course, for your input, brilliant ideas. We are going to take that forward. So thank you very much for that. Of course, the safety of this hotel. So Radisson team, congratulations and well done for keeping us safe through the 4 or so hours. Then finally, we have a whole list of sponsors. I think Chantel mentioned, and I think some of them have left the room. So we would really want to really thank the main sponsors, and also just give me 1 minute so that I can read out, if you allow me. Whoa. They're about 30. Oh, they're here. Yeah. Citizen, the audio's here. Hot 96. We have Protel Studios, we've mentioned, MultiChoice, FarmBridge, QuickMart, KCB Bank. Safaricom also came through for us. We would not want to forget to mention them. So thank you very much, and we look forward to further engagements after this meeting, and then, of course, be with us on the journey as well as we head towards the 5th and the 6th and the 7th and the 10th. Yeah, we are here. We are keeping on. So thank you very much. I will end there, and let us break for the day. Thank you very much.